Welcome to 2008. The smartphone show is expanding slightly to reflect the wider world of smartphones. Although the core of the show will reflect the continued market dominance of Symbian OS, currently powering over half the world's smartphones, there will also be occasional coverage of the likes of the Apple iPhone and the RAM Blackberry, in addition to news and reviews from the world of Windows Mobile. In news, Nokia's N82 games platform has hit yet another delay, although it should be up and running by Smartphone Show 51, or 52, or 53. But never mind, because the S60 platform has a new star, MTube, a freeware client for the full YouTube. Unlike all other mobile YouTube versions, MTube queries and accesses the full gamut of YouTube content, even auto-rotating video on many devices, and allowing you to save videos for playback later on. Looks like the Nokia N80 has acquired another couple of would-be rivals, with news of the Toshiba Portage G920 and the Asus M390W, both shown here and both with similar specs to the Nokia communicator. Both are very early in their production cycles though, so Nokia still has a distinct edge in this genre. Finally, Macworld looms nigh in the USA. What will his Jobsness unveil this year? Early bets on an iPhone 2 seem a little misplaced, with the clever money being on a big firmware update for the existing iPhone. We'll have a report on what's in it in the very next smartphone show. And now for the first hardware review of 2008. Apologies for the croaky throat. It's quite evident from the various smartphone designs that have come out of Nokia recently that they have multiple teams of people working in parallel, with less than 100% communication between them, which is why some of the hardware designs have had a few, and I'll be kind here, rough edges. I'm thinking N76, N93i here. The N82 is a case in point. With other candy bars such as the best-selling 6120 Classic and top-rated E51 as templates, you'd have thought that combining the best of these with the internals of an N95 would be a recipe for success and the creation of a new star in the smartphone firmament. Unfortunately, the N82 has a horribly slim buttoned keypad, a cheap and flawed D-pad and a smaller than expected screen. But more on that later. Let's start with all that's good about the N82. And it's quite a long list. S60 3rd edition Feature Pack 1 is now pretty mature, and the N82 has the usual complement of decent applications, including the latest extras, such as the N-Gage Games Preview, download, the Nokia Music Store client, podcasting, Nokia Maps, and so on. There's also the now familiar multimedia carousel mapped to the protruding key shown here, although why it always opens at gallery when there's a dedicated button for this on the right hand side of the phone is beyond me. I'm still not convinced by the carousel itself either, duplicating the function of the main application menu and simply confusing most users. Personally, I just ignore it. However, the N82 is all about the camera, although the main lens and resolution is identical to that on the N95. It improves on the N95 though by adding a genuine xenon flash, no LEDs here. For low light photography, the xenon bulb makes a huge difference as shown here. If you're a party animal and take lots of bar or club shots, then this is the perfect evening companion. As on the original N95, the lens glass is protected by a mechanical shutter, as here. As with the N95, there's onboard GPS for quick position fixes and voice-guided navigation if you choose to upgrade basic maps, plus an accelerometer that's interestingly tied into the main S60 interface, giving automatic landscape and portrait orientation in most applications. Novel, but not strictly essential if I'm honest. But let's look at the form factor. As with the original N95, there's a micro SD slot and a 3.5mm music and TV out socket, always good to see. This is one of Nokia's first smartphones with micro USB, by the way, rather than mini USB. I'd complain, but there's no point. This is clearly an industry trend. And anyway, an adapter to larger USB forms is only going to be a few pounds or dollars. The use of the candy bar form factor usually dictates a slightly smaller screen, although I was disappointed to see a 2.4-inch display. By my own estimation, I think a 2.6-inch display, as on the original N95, would have been quite possible. More seriously, there are dramatic design changes to the keypad and control keys. The hard and thin pencil keys here may have been intended to look stylish, perhaps even retro, but to my eyes they simply look and feel cheap, the sort of keys you find on an ultra-budget gadget. In fact, they work well enough for short periods, but they're significantly harder on the fingers for any serious texting. The D-pad is spongy to say the least, and there's a design flaw in that the left, up and right key presses each see your finger pressing on the surrounding control surface as much as the D-pad itself. Certainly not ideal for gaming. The left-right menu and cancel controls are also embedded in this surface, and you have to know exactly where to press, which isn't easy as the icons only appear when you're in low light and the keypad backlight gets turned on. In fact, the same criticism applies to the keypad itself. If you're in any way unsure as to which letters are on which key, you'll get no help at all in most light conditions from the white on silver labels. I don't actually hate the Nokia N82, but it's certainly not for me. I can see young professionals with an active nightlife going for this in a big way. Me, I prefer settling down with the N95 and a nice cup of cocoa.
Hi, my name's Craig from Craig's Tech Blog, and today I'm going to be speaking to you about the Blackberry phones. As we can see, I've got one of the older generation Blackberries. Most of you will know Blackberry phones. You might have seen in the workplace, you might have seen friends and family that have got it, through work, or guys that do a lot of emailing go for Blackberries because the email works so well on it. Lately, you've got Blackberry Connect for your Symbian phones, which give you similar type functionality. But the Blackberry phones are mainly known as an email device, full QWERTY keyboards, large displays, little roller wheel on the side to scroll, got speaker phones, but traditionally they were work phones. You could put your calendars, emails, etc. on it, but you couldn't really do multimedia. Small memory, no memory card slot, no cameras. But over the last year or two, that's changed. You've got your new Blackberry phones, like your Pearl, which is this one here. You also get your 8310, which has got the full QWERTY keyboard, but the Pearl phones, or the newer generation Blackberry phones, have now got cameras. They've dropped the roller key on the side, and they've now got the trackball in the middle to make it easier one-handed navigation, and also gives you videos. You can put MP3s on here. You can now take a storage card slot, so you can put a lot more information on there. It's also got A2DP, so you can also use it for stereo streaming, for headsets, for media players, etc. Also, your Blackberry phones have changed over the last year or two. They've now become more mainstream devices, which means there's a lot of cool apps for normal users in terms of Facebook applications to stay up to date with your social networking, and also there's a lot of enhancements coming also on the business side of things, where you can soon start doing spreadsheet editing with hopefully documents to go from Dataviz, which should be out hopefully soon. So various things are happening. It's not just a closed platform anymore where you can only view stuff. Pretty soon you can edit stuff. Currently you can take photos, upload it to Facebook. In terms of videos, you can't do recording videos yet and sending it to Facebook, etc. But hopefully soon can put videos on and watch it. Not all the media codecs are supported though, so you'll get audio but no video. But hopefully soon with future firmwares that should improve. Hopefully in the next couple of shows we can show you the pros and cons about Blackberry, some head-to-heads. We can show you easy ways to set up email, getting stuff on your device, stuff off your device, and also just showing you Blackberries are also smartphones, not just a closed platform, and one of the phones to contend with.
The question I get asked most often after "what phone should I get?" is, what phone do you use? Well, you'll recall that I was a heavy advocate of the Nokia E90 a few months ago. The E90 is still a terrific mobile journalism tool, but away from press launches and conferences, for day-to-day use I've been settling down now with the Nokia N95 8GB for several reasons. One, the one-handed form factor means that I can use it in a wider range of circumstances than the E90, which is unashamedly a two-handed device. For example, walking down the street with my daughter, lying in bed, surreptitiously in company in a meeting, and so on. And if I do want to type, there's always a Bluetooth keyboard in my car's glove compartment. Number two, the large 2.8-inch quarter VGA screen is just so incredibly legible. A boon when you hit 46, as I did recently, and your eyes aren't what they once were. Number three, the overall N95 media package, from 5 megapixel camera to VGA video recording to TV out to loud stereo speakers, is just fabulous, as you know, for a jack of all trades handheld. Number 4, although I preferred the lens protector and the expandable storage in the original N95, the bigger battery here, the bigger RAM and the bigger screen in the 8GB model have won out for me. The N95 8GB is still on early firmware though, and there are a few glitches in the operation here and there. Watch the news section for an update from Nokia.